Hi everyone, my assigned topic is FAO number 195, section 1 to 8, series of 1999, with the subject Rules and Regulations Governing the Importation of Fresh, Chilled, Frozen Fish, and Fishery or Aquatic Products. In section 1, there are definition of terms and phrases. First is the accredited importer or the AI. Refers to an institutional buyer, individual or entity directly engaged in fishing and aquaculture and given the privilege by the BFAR to import fresh or chilled, frozen fish and fishery or aquatic products. Katong mga buyer mo na siya mga accredited importer nga gitagaag privilege sa BFAR nga mo import og mga katong fishery products. Then next is accredited laboratories or the EL. The laboratories in the Philippines aside from BFAR laboratory nga gitagaan og authority by the DTI product standards to analyze the adequate sample or imported fishery product collected randomly by the technical personnel of BFAR for chemical and microbiological examination and parasite identification. Then, application form to import katong or EFI. Mao ni siya ang document nga imong nga required sa BFAR to be filled up by the accredited importer o katong mga buyer, indicating the purpose of the importation. Katong unsay purpose sa pag-import. Species or kind of fish, volume to be imported, and country of origin. Then next is the BFAR or the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. Then the batch refers to a quantity of fish and fishery or aquatic products obtained under practically identical conditions. Then, the chilled fish refers to fish and fishery or aquatic produces which have been subjected to process where the product is cooled to a temperature of melting ice 0 degrees Celsius or 32 Fahrenheit. Katong mga chilled fish siya nga nana sa 0 degrees Celsius. Then the consignment refers to quantity of fish and fishery aquatic products bound for a customer in the country of destination and conveyed by one means of transportation. Then next is country of origins accredited laboratory or the COL. The laboratories of the country of origin of the imported fresh, chilled, frozen fish, and fishery aquatic products, which issue health certificates certifying that the said fish products have been inspected, gi-inspect na to siya, gi-examine, o certified as fit for human consumption. Then the Department of Agriculture, katong DA. Then next is DA certification. Ang DA certification is issued by the Secretary of the Department of Agriculture, certifying the necessity of importing fish to ensure food security, fish price stability, and enhance fishery resource conservation. Then Director. Ang Director refers to the Director of the BFAR. Then next is fish and fishery or aquatic products. Includes not only finfish but also mollusk, crustaceans, echinoderms, marine animals, and all other species of aquatic flora and fauna and all other products of aquatic living resources in any form. Then the food safety. The assurance that the food is processed properly and when consumed will not harm the consumers. Katong safe na ang pagkaon. Safe na ang katong mga food nga na properly processed na. Then next is the food security. Refers to any plan, policy, or strategy aimed at ensuring adequate supplies of appropriate food at affordable prices. Food security may be achieved through self-sufficiency, through self-reliance, or through pure importation. Then next is fresh fish. Refers to freshly caught fish which has not undergone any processing or preservation treatment katong bag-o pa jud gikuha gikan sa dagat katong wala pay mga processing or preservation treatment. Then next is frozen fishery or aquatic products. Fish or fishery or aquatic product which have been subjected to a freezing process sufficient to reduce the temperature to 180 degrees Celsius or 00 Fahrenheit, preserve its quality and to maintain said product at this temperature. Katong gipang frozen na jud siya nga mga fishery products para ma-maintain ang kadto nga produkto. Then, the institutional buyers, accredited entities or corporations importing fish for final consumption or processing as food requirements for accredited hotels and which would execute an undertaking that they will not distribute the commodities the wet markets. Then next is the International Health Certificate. Refers to a written guarantee issued by a authorized or competent regulatory agency from thy country of origin, certifying that the fish of fishery or aquatic products have been handled, processed, and packed in hygienic manner and does not contain microorganisms that may pose food safety hazard. Then the packaging refers to the procedure of protecting fish and fishery or aquatic products by a wrapper, a container, or any suitable device. Katong isod na siya sa katong mga fishery or aquatic products nga isod na siya sa mga wrapper, katong container para dili na ma-contaminated. Then next is permit to import or the PI, a document issued by BFAR in response to the application to import of an accredited importer. Katong mga buyer. Then, the private sector refers to consumer groups, importers, producers, aquaculturists, fisherfolk, and non-government organizations. Then, the processing means with respect to fish or fishery products, the handling, storing, preparing, heating, eviscerating, shocking, changing into different market forms, manufacturing, preserving, packing, labeling, dockside, unloading, or holding. Then, secretary, the secretary of the DA. Then, last is SPS certificate or the sanitary and phytosanitary certificate. A document issued by a BFAR laboratory or an accredited laboratory after the mandatory standard physical, microbiological, and chemical examination for imported fishery products, intended for the wet market, processing, re-export, and sale to specialized restaurants, except for canning and processing purposes. To ensure that the products being imported are fit for human consumption and are not capable of harboring pests, viruses, and diseases. Such document also prescribes the conditions to be complied with the importer for the maintenance of quality and suitability of the product for the intended purpose. Then, in Section 2, importation of fish or chilled or frozen fish and fishery or aquatic products. The importation of fish or chilled or frozen fish and fishery aquatic products shall be allowed when certified are necessary by the Secretary in order to achieve food security, taking into consideration public welfare and safety. in consultation in Farm C, provided that the importation of fresh, chilled, frozen fish and fishery or aquatic products for canning and processing purposes, including importation undertaken by institutional buyers does not require such certification. Provide further that all importation satisfies the permit to import and sanitary and phytosanitary or SPS requirements as provided under Section 67 of Republic Act Number 8550, the hazard analysis and the critical control points or the HACCP standards, and as provided for under this order. The certification, which shall be valid for 90 days, would state the volume of fish to be imported as recommended by the Director upon prior consultation with the private sector as defined in this order. Then in Section 3, basis for the issuance of the Department of Agriculture certification of the necessity to import. Pursuant to Section 1 of Republic Act Number 8550, the Secretary, in consultation with the NFARMC, prior to the issuance of a certification on the necessity of the importation applied for, shall determine, among others, the following are: the importation is necessary for food security. Then, next is, there is serious injury or threat to domestic industry that produces like or directly competitive products. Then, in Section 4, filing of application. When a certification has been duly issued by the Secretary under Section 3, an importer may file a duly accomplished application form to import for importation of fresh, chilled, frozen fish or fishery products with the Office of the Director at least 5 days prior to its importation, and with a non-refundable application fee of 150 pesos, accompanied by the following documents, like pro forma invoice, articles of incorporation and bylaws duly approved by the Securities and Exchange. Then in Section 5, the issuance of a permit to import. A permit to import may be issued by the Director or his duly authorized representative only after an application thereof has been filled in accordance with the preceding section and the applicant has been paid the permit fee of 1,500 pesos and such other charges for administrative and technical services rendered in connection with the importation. The indicated amount covers the mandatory standard microbiological examination conducted on all imported fish and fishery or aquatic products. A separate charge for specialized laboratory examination for antibiotics, trace, mercury traces, or etc. may be exposed when such examinations are deemed necessary. Charges incidental to importation of fish and fishery or aquatic products shall be in accordance with FAO number 187 series of 1993 and its amendments. Then, in Section 6, the duration of a permit to import. Ang kadugayon sa permit. A permit to import issued under this order shall expire 30 days from the date of issuance. May expire sa 30 days from the date issuance. An unused permit to import shall be considered automatically cancelled. Automatic na siya cancelled katong mga unused permit to import. Then, in Section 7, transshipment ports. To facilitate monitoring of imported fishery products, all imported fish destined for the wet market shall be coursed through the government fish ports of the Philippine Fisheries Development Authority or the PFDA, provided that the importation of fresh, chilled, frozen fish and fishery aquatic products for canning and processing purposes, and importation by institutional buyers as defined and this order does not require transshipment through the government fish ports. Then, next is in the Section 8, required documents for trading imported fish. The government fish port authorities shall require the following documents from the accredited importer prior to the display of the imported commodities for trading, like the Bureau of Customs Entry Declaration, International Health Certificate, then the Sanitary and Phytosanitary Certificate. Then next is Certificate of Origin, and lastly, Bill of Lading. Mato'y mga required documents for trading imported fish. So, that's all for my assigned topic. Thank you for listening and God bless.